So one of the big things that we see, one of the big questions that we get through YouTube for the two of you is help. I'm retiring from the federal government. Let's talk a little bit about that, Mike and Ryan. And it takes a specific skill set to help people retire from the federal government. You guys have that. Why is that so important for our federal employees that are listening right now that want to retire, but it's just so complicated?
Well, I think federal employees are in a very, very unique situation because they have pension options, right? And the pension options are multiple choice questions, really. You know, if you're married, how do you want to take care of your spouse? If you have health benefits, how are you going to take care of your health benefits versus your spouse's health benefits? And there's various choices on how much to take, but it even starts before then. It's what day of the month, what day of the week, which day of the year do I actually retire? And there's a mathematical calculation that says here's the 3 best days of the year to retire, and they have life insurance benefits, and they have long-term care benefits, and they have their TSP, and they have all these moving parts. They have offsets so that if they go out early, if they go out at 60, here's what you're going to get part of your Social Security early. There's all these rules involved, and in the old days, I mean, back when I don't know, 10 and 20 years ago, I used to teach federal benefits courses, and we would be out at, everything from the FBI to out there in Havre Grace and Aberdeen, and we'd be in downtown DC. We were all over the place teaching federal benefits, and we would teach classes for 8 hours a day for 2 and 3 days a week to get through everything, understanding how to use the TSP, understanding, exactly what FEGLI does. And I mean, just in GIBA and all those acronyms that they have. And unfortunately, what happens is that if a federal employee sits down and talks with somebody who does not understand how federal benefits truly work, that federal employee can make a huge mistake. It's like understanding when exactly to take Social Security. What's the best day to take Social Security for you? Well, when and how to elect your federal benefits works exactly the same way. Should you take and buy their long-term care, or should you buy it outside? Sometimes it feels just simple to take the path of least resistance. But the fact is that as a federal employee, you've been part of a structure and organization that plans everything out to the nth degree. And your benefits should be part of your planning your future to the nth degree. You should be sitting down with somebody like Ryan and myself where you can actually get a full explanation of when exactly you should retire, exactly how you should elect those benefits. Should you go out at 58? Should you wait for 59? I mean, I can remember back, he's a great guy. His name is John. And he's been working for the federal government forever. I think he's in his 50th year for working for the federal government. And first of all, he loves what he does. And so like I've said all along, if you love what you do, work until you're dead, because at that point you're not working, you're just enjoying life. Right. But he loved what he did, but he was getting a little bit tired because he was in a job where most of the time they never messed with him, but every now and then they promote somebody, and this new person would decide that he needed to, adjust things in the office, and would start tweaking it and just, bugging John. And so John and I were sitting down talking, and I explained to him that I pay the kids across the street from me $15 an hour to do weeding for me. And at this point, because he was under the old CSRS system, he was getting basically 88% of his salary as his pension. Wow. So if you think about it for just a minute, he was working for basically $7 or $8 an hour. And on one hand, I'd said to him, look, if you love what you do, fine, working for $7 or $8 an hour works. But on the other hand, when you're ready, I'll pay you $15 an hour to come weed. And he had never really thought that through, that he was working
and that's a raise for him, right?
Right. But he had never really thought about the fact that he was working for $7 an hour, because in his mind's eye, he's making $180,000 a year. I'm like, no. You don't get to look at it that way. You have to actually break down the numbers. And if you want to truly understand how your federal benefits work, if you truly want to understand what are the best 3 days, how do I calculate my benefits, what type of option should I have for my spouse, what type of legacy do I want to do? Do I keep the GIBA? Do I keep FEGLI? Do I carry that life insurance policy into retirement? When I retire, it's a great policy, but within a pretty short period of time, it gets so expensive, it's stupid. And do I want to understand how those things, look at your screen right now. There's a little button there that you can click that says link to our calendar. Go click on that little button and just tell us, hey, I want to get together with you guys at 3:00, or your federal employee, you probably go in at 6:00 in the morning and get out too, so you don't have to deal with traffic. So I want to meet with you at 2:30. I want to meet with you at 4:00, whatever it is. Just click that little button, sign up for a time to sit down with Brian, myself, and our team, and we can walk you through the conversation. We can tell you exactly what we're going to do for you. But the reality is, as a federal employee, just like John did, just like, oh my gosh, I bet you at least a third of our clients are retired federal employees. But just click that little button and so you can find out and have a plan created for you, just like you do every year in your agency. You do budgeting, you're part of the forecast, and you're part of what we're going to accomplish this year. You're part of that whole planning process, because almost all federal employees are. Be part of that process for your own retirement. Actually create that plan. Just click the button below and we'll be able to get you started.
Absolutely. You can find the links to schedule that complimentary personalized review that Mike was talking about with the team at ProStatus Financial in the video description. And also, while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel as well, and share that with your friends. Because Ryan, as Mike was just talking about here, you guys work with a lot of federal employees. So I got to imagine that somebody watching right now has a friend, or themselves maybe, that are working for the federal government, are thinking about retiring, and are starting to get a little nervous. Do you guys see that as they get closer to that time, they do start to get a little nervous, I guess a little worried, because this is so complicated, and not everybody knows how to speak the same language in regards to federal employees' retirements as you guys do?
It's ironic that the federal government is the single largest employer in the United States. They plan everything out, yet they don't have a department. Mike made a joke on our radio program about OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, still works with abacuses. They don't have the department that these people can go to. They don't have a resource that these people can go to, other than just go to the website and try and figure it out on your own. They don't have somebody that they can go to that'll sit down with them and explain to them how their life insurance works, how the long-term care insurance works, how their pension works, how their health insurance, their survivorship benefits, all these various options that federal employees have. Nobody explains it to them. That's why for years, Mike and I used to do these trainings, and I still get people that call me from trainings that I did back in 2013 when I was down at Department of Homeland Security down in Crystal City. I still have people that call me and say, hey, I attended this seminar, because they have this big meeting for all the Homeland Security people. I remember what you talked about. I have all these questions. I remember you talked about it then, but I know things have changed and I don't have anybody that I can go to. That is why Mike and I are so well versed in federal employee benefits, because we have so many in the DC, Washington area where our main offices are, but we have clients all over the country. I just picked up somebody out in Utah because he works for the Homeland Security. Nobody explains it to them. And if you really want to have a true conversation about your retirement plan, and all those options that are available to you as a federal employee, in the description of this video, there's a link to sit down with Mike and myself and have a one-on-one conversation. And it doesn't matter if you're in Maryland, if you're in California or Washington or Montana, we can have those conversations with you about your retirement. All you have to do is click on that link in the description for a complimentary consultation with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus.
I'm glad you said that, because you mentioned Salt Lake City. I was going to say, well, so what about somebody from somewhere other than, here in the Maryland, D.C. area, or in Florida too? Because you guys also have offices in Florida. Again, find the links to schedule that complimentary personalized review with the team at Pro Status in the video description. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Mike, you had something there?
Yeah. So, one of my favorite stories, I can remember, Elaine came into my office and she was reluctant. And I think rightfully so. Federal employees are an attractive client for advisors. And she had talked to them. She'd gone to some of those dinner seminars where, you get all the upside of the market and don't lose any money. And they're, as soon as they walk in the office, they want to sell you a bunch of annuities and stuff. So she'd been at a bunch of those type of seminars. And when she was sitting down talking to me, she was fairly well versed in her plan. She was fairly well versed in what her options were, but she was under the old CSRS system. And there's a little technique that you can use. And she was unaware of this. There's a little strategy that you can use. And what you can do about 30 to 45 days before you retire, you can get a lifetime earnings statement. And when you get this lifetime earnings statement, it'll tell you how much you actually have earned over your lifetime in all the various agencies you've worked for. And keep in mind, you've transferred from agency to agency, and sometimes those agencies haven't marked your time down correctly. So you need to go get all those agency reports to figure out how much time to make sure that OPM is calculating the time the same way you did. But here's what we did with Elaine. I told her to get that report. She went out and got it. And over her lifetime, she had made about $3.5 million. And so what we were able to do is we were able to take about 10% of those lifetime earnings, about $350,000, and we were able to add it to an account. It was basically like an IRA for CSRS people. We were allowed to put that $350,000 in, and we put it in on Monday. And I'm being facetious when I said Monday, but we put it in on Monday, and we were immediately able to convert it to a Roth the day she retired. So 30 days later, when she retired, we were able to roll that money out into a Roth. So what we did was we took about $350,000 from an account that she was going to pay tax on every year with the dividends and interest and capital gains and stuff. And we were able to make it a tax-free account. Now, under normal circumstances, you can't make a contribution of $350,000 to your Roth IRA. It does not work. Under normal circumstances, federal employees can't make a $350,000 contribution to a TSP Roth. They can't do it. But here was a mechanism that federal employees can take advantage of that can take outside dollars about a month before they retire and convert those outside dollars based on their lifetime earnings into a Roth IRA, so that money's tax-free for them for the rest of their lives. Imagine having somebody on your side. Imagine working with a team that truly understands all the little nuances of federal benefits. And if you want to understand yours, look at the bottom of this page right now and click on that link. Set up a time to sit down with Ryan and myself and our team, and we're going to talk about your retirement income. We're going to talk about fees. We're going to talk about long-term care, estate planning, taxes. And all that is a very unique conversation for federal employees. And if you're not working with somebody who understands federal benefits, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. So please take the time, click on that link, and come sit down and talk with us.
Again, you can find the links to schedule that complimentary personalized review with the team at Pro Status in the video description, as Mike mentioned. And also subscribe, like the channel, subscribe, and share it with your friends as well, wherever it is that they may live, because they can work with people all over the place. Retirement planning, A to Z. And Mike, you don't, and Ryan, you don't have to imagine anymore, because if they simply talk to you guys, you can walk them through and give them the help that that they deserve. I mean, they put in the time, may as well make the best decision for your retirement. Guys, got to wrap this YouTube episode up. But thank you guys for always being available. Mike Canet is an estate planning attorney with a master's degree in tax and 4-time Amazon bestselling author. Ryan Herbert is a financial and tax planner and 5-star Wealth Management Award winner. Guys, thanks again. As always, you guys wrap things up. You guys get us out of here.
This is Ryan Herbert. Thank you so much for watching the Savvy Investor YouTube.
And this is Mike Canet. We'll see you, the Savvy Investor, next week.